Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Sunday edition. Fire sale to satisfy PSR. But before we get into that, if you do like what you see, please don't forget to smash that like. It does help the channel. It does keep it near the top of the search, which means new viewers find them more easily. So please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, come and hit the subscribe. Free to do so. Helps the channel grow. I'm 15 away from 1200. And also hit the bell notification that tells when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows. If you want to become a member, it's 99p. You can do that clicking the join button. And if you want to make a donation, you can do that in chat clicking the $sign as well. Okay, so, right. Well, it's been a bit of a roller coaster few days with Newcastle United, hasn't it? We saw the stories about Isak for Chelsea, which I'm glad it's never happened, if I'm honest. Yesterday I was out. I was away to Skegness for the day. Beautiful day out there. Really hot weather. Lovely. Look, getting messages off people, and I've seen the stories yesterday unfold. I saw social media going to it, and I don't blame people going into a meltdown over it. And that was concerning this guy, Anthony Gordon. Now, Anthony Gordon is, we know what a cracking player he is, and he's only going to get better. Now, when I saw this yesterday, I just couldn't believe what I was reading. And the fact that we wanted to do a part exchange with Quansah as well, but Liverpool didn't want Quansah going because the same is an integral part of their team, which I get. But to let this man go to one of the cartel as well would be absolute criminal. Excuse me, and that's why PSR is in to help these top six out, or as Ratcliffe says, with the as he says, Ratcliffe, he wants the big six to have more say. Who does he think he is to come into the Premier League, and start dictating who has the say and who doesn't, At the end of the day, all clubs that are competing in the Premier League have a say, Mr. Ratcliffe, not just 6 clubs, all clubs. There is 20 clubs in the Premier League. It is not a European Super League. It is not just a league for the top 6. It is a league for 20 clubs, and all 20 clubs should be treated fairly. So don't come in this Premier League expecting to do what you want to do. You don't want to pay for Ashworth. You don't believe in garden leave. You talk a load of shit, mate. You really do. But anyway, getting back to the PSR thing, we saw a story going around yesterday that we were looking to swap Elliot Anderson for Anthony Elanga. Elliot Anderson saying he wants to stay at Newcastle. This is the second transfer speculation he's been involved with. And we know he wants to stay. Now, on Anthony Elanga, I would take him absolutely. Look, he's better than Almiron on the right wing. He's got pace. We saw what he done to Dan Burn. He ripped Dan Burn to bits on Boxing Day. So look, at the end of the day, if there was some sort of deal there, then yeah, obviously I was happy with that yesterday when I saw that. But anyway, we saw when Minty doesn't want to go abroad, he wants to stay in the Premier League, which I don't blame him. And it's a shame that we can't give him Premier League football because of PSR. So we know Minty, there was a deal struck late yesterday with Brighton and Hove Albion that they will pay £33 million for Minty, which is not a bad deal for somebody who hasn't kicked a ball for Newcastle United and has only had a season in Eredivisie on loan. So look, for a player we picked up cheap, we have made a healthy £26 million profit on this player. Now then, Keith Downey put out a thing last night saying selling Minty may not be the only thing, may not be the only sell because we're still a bit short on our PSR, which apparently is around about 30 million. Nobody knows because only the owners will know this at the end of the day. So we sold him. So we're thinking, well, who else are we going to sell? Obviously we can't get rid of Dubravka off the books yet because he's still involved in the Euros. We come up against him tonight. We can't seem to get rid of Almiron. He's had 2 stinkers now for Paraguay, and that guy is done, I'm afraid, Almiron, you know. And he's another one that does not want to leave the club, you know. Does he not understand that for the sake of the club to go forward, we need to sell players, we need to bring some money in, you know? And this man does not want to seem to go. He just wants to stay. Well, I'm sorry, Miggy, your time is done. And I'm sorry if people out there who are Miggy fans say, oh, well, I don't want him to go. He's a nice guy, smells. No, I'm sorry. His time is done now. It's time for him to move on, I'm afraid. Reality, that's what it is. You know, when we had to sell ESM, he didn't want to leave the club. But ESM left the club because he knew it was for the financial restraints on the club. Because of the PSR, he knew he had to leave to help the club out. And that's what I admire about ESM for doing that. You know, he could have said, no, I'm not going. I've got a contract till blah, blah. I'm not leaving. I'm staying. But he didn't. He understood the situation. And he said, for the benefit of Newcastle, I'll move on. Miggy, take a leaf out of ESM's book and do exactly the same. Just leave and help us move forward as a club. Same with Longstaff. If he moves on, again, another one that doesn't want to leave. Please, Sean, just go. It's for the sake of the club. We've not heard of any contract offer for Longstaff, so maybe the club are looking to sell him on. Another rumour going around is about Callum Wilson as well. 3 Saudi clubs have put in bids for him, are looking at him, and West Ham. Apparently, one unnamed club, which is not a PIF club, by the way, have offered 23 million for Wilson. Take it. Okay, we only make 3 million profit off that because we bought him for 20 million. But I tell you what, take it. If they're offering 23 million, snap their hands off. Unless they're prepared to go into a bidding war with 3 other clubs. Or with the other 2 clubs plus West Ham. So we'll wait and see what develops on that one. But the late news we saw develop last night, and I only woke up to it this morning, so obviously it must have been really, really late because I went to bed early. I was absolutely shattered. But I see early about 11 o'clock. Was the news involving Elliot Anderson. Now, David Ornstein broke this last night, and we now know Elliot Anderson is on his way to Nottingham Forest. Now, this lad didn't want to leave. This lad grew up at Newcastle United. It's Newcastle through and through. But he now has to leave because of PSR reasons. Such a shame. But I suppose in some ways, if we have to let somebody go, then we have to let him go. We have got, when you think about it, in midfield, we are pretty stacked. Especially on the left side, we got Willick, we've got Joe Linton, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, got Tonali to come back. We've got Bruno on the midfield as well. So look, we're heavily stacked there. It's a shame because I think the lad's got potential. And all I can say is wish him good luck at Nottingham Forest and hope he does really, really well. Now, there was talk of him yesterday going in an exchange with Anthony Elanga coming the other way. Now, nothing more's been said about Elanga. But what I would say is, if there was a chance of us getting Elanga in, I would absolutely take him. That we'd have it Newcastle United, along with Isak and Kraft. But not only that, Elanga's got pace. And we saw that pace against Dan Burn last season, Boxing Day, when he absolutely took Dan Burn apart, As I say, 22-year-old Swede, I would absolutely take him. Can play left wing and right wing. He got 9 assists last season for a struggling Forest team and 5 goals, in 36 matches he played. The potential's there. But if he's playing in a better team, that lad could be quality. That could have been a big mistake, Man United letting him go in the first place. I've seen some Man United fans saying they'd rather have kept Elanga over Anthony, so that just shows you how much they rate him. Look, if Elanga came along, I wouldn't be against that move. You might not be the only one we play bringing it right wing, because I know we're looking for the way the stories are going. We're looking at a marquee signing for a right wing, but Elanga does bring you that extra bit as well. So, you know, you've got somebody there you could bring off the bench and help change a game if you need to. So, yeah, I'm not against that. What's your thoughts? Would you have Elanga? Although there's no deal in place at the minute by the looks of things, but who knows? Who knows? Things could change. So the state of play is we've made £36 million profit on 2 players. It looks like Anderson's going to Forest for 10 million. Personally, we should have put more on that. So maybe Forest are selling somebody today. I don't know what their balance of books is for PSR. I don't know where they are. I don't know if they're absolutely spot on or what. I don't know. But nobody knows how much our PSR is. But why, if you know, our owners are great business people, but why are we leaving this till the last minute? This is what I can't understand. But thankfully, hopefully, it'll be sorted today. I know people are saying, well, why don't we just take the points deduction? But the thing is, if we take the points deduction, we are Newcastle United. We don't know what they're going to throw at us. Yes, okay, they give Forest a 4.1, they might give Everton 6 points or whatever, but it's Newcastle United, and they're waiting for us to do something wrong so they can hammer us. But we're not giving them that satisfaction. PSR, the new year resets tomorrow. I expect us to go wild. Not wild, but I expect us to spend big this summer. Get a few sponsors through the door. That'll shove the PSR up as well for next year, and hopefully by then we won't be in this position again. You know, it's not fair when you go and buy a young player, but you've got to sell him before he even plays a competitive game in a black and white shirt because of PSR. This is the reality of this. And let me be one thing honest. Football is dead, people. Football is dead because of PSR. This is killing football. This is ruining football fans' dreams of things. Just because there's a greedy cartel and a puppet master called Richard Masters at the top. Now then, the end of the day, I've said this. I've seen other people put it on social media. I've had people messaging me saying they are starting to lose interest in football. Like me, I am as well. Because at the end of the day, I look at this and I think, what is the point of football? What is the point? You know, there's too much red tape going on now. The PSR thing seems to dominate everybody's lives. And it's absolutely disgusting. At the end of the day, it's anti-competitive. Teams coming from the Championship, they'll spend money, but they'll try and make sure that they're checking their books to make sure they don't overspend, because they'll end up with a points deduction. You know, Leicester's coming back up. Well, we know Leicester have been promoted, sorry, they've come back up. They're going to start off with a points deduction next year. It's disgusting. You know, if Leicester got a 10-point deduction, they'd be on minus 10 points. Are they going to stay up next season? They're going to have to win a lot of games to stay up next season. So you fear for them if they get a 10-point deduction. It's about time this PSR thing was either sorted out or just scrapped, because it's not fit for purpose. Not fit for purpose. As I say, it's killing football, especially in this country. Masters says the Premier League's the best league in the world. Well, I'll tell you what, Richard Masters, no, it's not. No, it is not, mate. It is far from the best in the world. This is going to be one of the worst leagues in the world eventually, because I'll tell you why, because people like you and your cartel are ruining it, absolutely ruining it. You know, we've got the richest owners in the world, right? And you think, so why have we got the richest owners in the world, but we seem to be scrimping and scraping when it comes to PSR? All this boils down to a guy who had the club beforehand, that scumbag who formerly owned this football club. The sponsors, he didn't bring many of them in because he had his own there. He brings in petty little shirt deals for 5 million a season. $3 million a season for front of shirt sponsor, $1 million for a sleeve sponsor. How's that making us money? Um, that man was supposed to be a businessman. Well, if he was a businessman, he would have realised that, oh, hang on, let's get some big sponsors in this club. If we'd had the right sponsorship in the club, and or let's just go back to 2008. If he hadn't been such an asshole when he was selling the club, and Man City's owners at the time wanted to buy it, if him and the Poison Dwarf, Dennis Wise, weren't such assholes, we could have been where Man City are now. We could have been. But, as I say, the owners we've got now are trying to build our commercial revenue up by bringing in sponsors. We got another one come through the door, Leo Vegas now. Look, this is what we need. We need to bring more and more commercial revenue into the club to get us up that way a bit so we can compete. Because I say it's just so corrupt, so anti-competitive. And it's sad that we've had to sell players, in the past 24 hours. Minty, who looks a super talent. And I tell you what, I just hope he doesn't score against us next season. I'm interested to see how he gets on in the Premier League. He may go to Brighton and totally flop. And if he does, you think, well, actually, £26 million profit for a flop isn't bad at all. But he may go to Brighton and hit the ground running and be an exceptional player. We'll soon see. And then when you got to lose talent like Elliot Anderson, look, the guy's done well for us. Yes, he's not the greatest player, we know that. But there's potential there. He may go to Forest and smash it when he goes there. Who knows? But when you've got to sell players like that, but then you've got players like Almiron who refuse to leave the club, then I'm sorry. What Eddie Howe needs to do next season is sit down Almiron and say, look, Miggy, we're moving you on because the club wants to progress. You've had your time here. This is your time to move on. If you don't want to move on, you're not part of the 25-man Premier League squad next season. So all you'll have to do every day is just do training every day, because you won't be able to go anywhere because the transfer window will be shut and you'll be sitting around. So what does Miggy want to do? So let's hope he has a change of heart, Miggy, and he does move on. But anyway, guys, I will be back later with the pre-match show for England versus Slovakia second round game, which are the knockouts now. In the Euros, we saw Germany go through last night. Bit controversial, you could say, especially the offside. I mean, that was just by a toenail. Then you saw the penalty which was awarded, which was it a penalty? But, again, they've got this snickometer, which a lot of people are saying, why are we using a snickometer now for handballs? Look, it's harsh, but again, I can see why it's harsh, but then I can see the other side why it was given, because, Anderson's got his arm right out. It's not in a natural position. It's in an unnatural position. So if it was down his side and hit him, it wouldn't be handball. But because his arm's outstretched and it's clipped his hand, it's handball all day long. It's not great, but Germany go on and win that 2-0. We saw Switzerland beat Italy. Italy were very, very poor yesterday, let's be honest. That wasn't an Italy side that we saw in the last Euros, and they look awful, Italy. They look really awful. So if England win today, they will play Switzerland in the next round, so that should be an interesting game. As I say, I'll be back with that later on at around about 3:30, so do catch me for that one. But yeah, what's your thoughts on football? Is football dead? PSR through PSR. What's your thoughts on selling Minty and Anderson? Yes, it's good business for the club. On Anderson, we make the 100% profit at 10 million. That's the mooted fee anyway. I don't know what the actual full fee is. So what's your thoughts on that? Minty going, yes, it helps the club out, but you're also doing it to make sure the cartel can't punish us either. But anyway, don't forget to hit that like button if you have enjoyed the show. That makes a difference. Thank you very much. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe and hit the bell notification to keep you up to date with any future shows, live shows or pre-records as well. So all that leaves me to say is remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. And until the next time, until 3:30, I will see you later on this afternoon. Away the lads.